from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Many reports of hail have come out of the western part of the valley today. Take a look at this. This is large hail falling in the New Rockford area. Thank you to Randy for sharing this video with us. A severe line of thunderstorms raced across the nation's heartland last night, dumping heavy amounts of rain and flooding parts of Bismarck, North Dakota. Good evening and thank you for joining us this Saturday. I'm Bradford Eric. According to the National Weather Service, the storm produced wind speeds of up to 80 miles per hour. Officials said there were no immediate reports of any injuries, but several buildings and cars were damaged. With that being said, we did get off pretty lucky here in Fargo with just some overnight rain and winds that were not nearly as strong as what Bismarck saw, but is that going to change tonight? Let's head over to a very busy Lisa Green for a first look at our weather. And Lisa, it's getting pretty nasty out there.
Thank you, Bradford. Yes, it's been a wild afternoon and now evening in eastern parts of North Dakota, most specifically the Devil's Lake Basin, but that's starting to shift a little farther south as well. Tonight, we have 3 separate tornado warnings in effect right now. The one that we're pointing to right now is for Barnes and Griggs County until 6:15, so about 15 minutes left on that storm as it makes its way from southern Barnes down into northern Griggs County. A second one that also is in effect until 6:15 for Nelson and Ramsey County. That includes Lakota. It's just past the Lakota area toward Macville and Pekin. And then this third one in effect until 6:30 tonight for Benson, Eddy, and Nelson County, impacting the Tolna area. Now again, these storms, each one of them has the capability of producing a tornado. We do not have any reports at the moment of a tornado on the ground, but the concern is that any of them could produce one. Specifically this one right here south of Devil's Lake, this one has looked the strongest at the moment. The one in Nelson County weakening just a bit, and this one in southern parts of Griggs County also showing some intensity. In fact, it's really ramped up. Likely some large hail with this storm as well. These are all moving to the southeast at 30 to 40 miles per hour. So eventually that storm will be passing into northern parts of Barnes County for the evening hours tonight. I will expand the view to show you the storm reports on these. We did have one report this afternoon of a tornado touching the ground that was 7 miles east of Candu. A spotter reported it as it touched down. And there are several reports of large hail, including ping pong ball size hail in the Devil's Lake area. That's 1.5 inches in diameter. So large hail being reported with these storms, and they do have a history, at least one has a history of producing a tornado. Lightning associated with these as well, and they are moving south and east, so we're going to be keeping an eye on them as they roll through for tonight to see if they can hold their intensity as they approach the Red River. We'll be letting you know right here on Valley News Live. When I return, I'll have some updates on these tornado warnings, and if there's any new information, we'll be bringing that to you right away.
Okay, thank you for keeping us safe, Lisa. And you can stay up to date on the weekend weather conditions anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Storm Team weather app to get the latest weather conditions and even follow the radar live. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store. The Fargo Fire Department had to stabilize and break the rear window to free a man pinned in his taxi after it flipped over in a crash earlier today. Authorities responded to the crash that involved a taxi van and another vehicle at the intersection of 10th Street South and 1st Avenue South this morning around 9. Traffic was partially blocked because of the collision. Both drivers suffered non-life-threatening injuries and neither of them went to the hospital. The crash is still under investigation. A multi-vehicle crash happened just outside of Perkins off of 13th Avenue in Fargo around 3 o'clock this afternoon. It appears to be sort of a chain reaction where 5 vehicles all rear-ended each other. Traffic was blocked on 13th Avenue South going westbound as well as the I-29 interchange. 4 of the 5 vehicles only had minor damage and 1 vehicle was towed. 1 man was taken to the hospital with unknown injuries. 2 days after authorities say he walked into the Emmanuel AME Church, joined an hour of Bible study, and then shot and killed the pastor and 8 other participants, Dylan Roof had his first court appearance in Charleston. Roof is charged with 9 counts of murder and 1 count of possession of a weapon. At his hearing, Dylan Roof stood shackled in a small room, armed guards behind him, appearing by video from the jail. Through most of it, he kept his eyes down and had little to say, but it was the victim's family members speaking off camera to the court who gave passionate voices to the loss and heartbreak they all feel. Among them, the daughter of 70-year-old Ethel Lance.
You hurt a lot of people. But God forgive you, and I forgive you.
Court documents allege Roof stood over a witness and uttered a racially inflammatory statement. Friends of Roof say they never saw that side of him, but were worried when he recently bought a handgun, and they say threatened to open fire at the College of Charleston. Dylan Roof's next court hearing is in October. Aaron Knodl's attorney Bob Hoy says they are happy the state is asking to dismiss the trial. Just a few days ago, the state filed a motion to dismiss the remaining 2 charges against Knodl, but is asking the judge to rule with prejudice. That means the state could recharge Knodl if new evidence is discovered. Knodl is a suspended West Fargo teacher that is accused of having a sexual relationship with a student. He was acquitted on 3 of the 5 charges. A local lawyer sat down with us and explained what the state's brief really meant and what this case has shown our community.
I think that too much in our society we jump to conclusions. And so when somebody's accused, most people will presume that they're guilty. And that's a very sad state.
Some teachers in the area do feel that Knodl's situation will make teachers more cautious on how they interact with students going forward. To see more on that story and the latest with the Knodl case, visit valleynewslive.com. A number of larger cities around the country say it's okay for your dog to be by your side when eating at a restaurant's outdoor patio. If you're walking your 4-legged best friend in downtown Fargo, you're in luck. A number of the downtown eateries with outdoor spaces say it's just fine if Fido hangs out, and they'll serve him if you ask. I headed downtown to talk with a few of those restaurants. It's a hot summer day. You and your dog decide you'd like to rest your legs. JL Beer says, come on down.
We're friendly with the furry friends.
Laura Mio says they do get Man and Man's best friend to swing by occasionally, and they have no problem with them sitting outside.
It happens every so often. You know, you've got a really nice day out and people are walking their dogs and they just need to stop, and the dog's thirsty, maybe the human's thirsty, so.
Mio says if an owner asks, they'll serve a dog water to keep them cool too. Their next door neighbor, Vinyl Taco, says dogs are welcome on their patio area. Just like JL Beers though, if the dog starts acting up, they'll ask the person to leave. Further down the block, the Worst Beer Hall says stop by too. There's just a few tables out front, but you and Fido are welcome. And if you ask, they'll serve you both.
Dogs are not allowed inside restaurants unless they're licensed service dogs.
Grant Larson says the law mandates you can't have a pet inside a restaurant, but outdoors is another story.
In outdoor areas or outdoor seating and patio areas, we do not have regulations on pets. However, we do recommend that the restaurant looks into liability and the responsibility for the pet owner and the dog, if they do allow it.
Nowhere in any of the health codes does it say an establishment can allow dogs outside, but it also doesn't say they can't. It's up to each place to decide what they want to do. The JL Beers downtown is the only location for the restaurant that will allow you to have your dog on the patio. Rhombus Guys on Main Avenue says they allow dogs in their outdoor seating area on the sidewalk, but not up on the roof. Later on Valley News Live at 6, volunteers and family members are helping out one area family in need of a new house. More on that later.
And we have a new warning. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for the cell in east central parts of Barnes County, moving into southwestern Cass County tonight for some very large hail. It could also be producing some rotation. In addition to that, multiple tornado warnings still in effect. I'll have the full details right after this.